We are back once again for a very exciting video because today Universal have released some exciting plans with regards to what they're planning to do in this field. My name is Marcus. This is Daniel.
Hello. Welcome to the field. Yes, we are back once again in the field where Universal Studios Great Britain is going to be built and opened in 2031. And there's been a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Quite sad.
He's sad because he hasn't subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already and follow us on Spotify.
What a morning it's been, though. We've been here with the BBC this morning.
We have. We literally, instead of reacting on this to the plans coming out, we sort of did all of our research and reactions on there.
Yeah.
Not that the reaction was very big because it was a lot to read through.
we were sat there with a laptop ready to reload that. I can't swear. And then we were scrolling and there was more text and more text and more text.
But now, having read through it all, this is about 2 or 3 hours after that came out, we have quite a few interesting pieces that were in there that do sort of tell you a lot about not only the infrastructure of the area, the fact that the Eurostar could run to this site. That's what they might be planning. We'll get onto that.
Spoilers!
Stats about the hotel and all that sort of stuff, and also a potential height of one of the roller coasters here that could be Europe's tallest.
Could be, or it could not be.
Watch till the end to see or listen. The documents came online at midday today, the 3rd of July it is, isn't it?
It is the 3rd of July.
Went live, public. They've already submitted the planning application, but it became public today. And wow, there was literally the first document was 460 pages long. So you can imagine, like we said, a lot of reading had to take place. What were your first thoughts when we got this?
My first thoughts were Command F to search for the word roller coaster.
And you actually found some interesting stuff from
and
that.
I found some really interesting. My first thoughts were to look for as many pictures as possible because we all love a picture book. No one loves reading.
Oh no.
Words? No. I wish I was joking.
We genuinely just scrolled through, and any map or like diagram that came up, we were like, oh, what's this? I could see Marcus scrolling through on the laptop, and as soon as there was a tiny bit of colour on the page, click.
Yeah, click on the picture, and there was nothing.
Yeah, there was a lot of maps about things we already know and the road infrastructure. We now know there's going to be a couple roundabouts and the bit that comes off the A42 one, stuff like that we may not have known before. But
there was a really detailed diagram about Wixham Station.
Yes, there was.
Which, for train geeks, that might interest you.
Yeah, train enthusiasts, big up. Whilst you're here, train enthusiasts, I appreciate you watching and listening. We are going to talk quickly about something that was in the planning statement. The Eurostar might start running to Bedford for Universal Studios Great Britain.
Yeah. You could get a direct train from Amsterdam to Bedford.
Who on earth wants to do that?
Me. That sounds wonderful, though.
That does. That's really cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
To think about. But we kind of called it anyway. The whole time we've been sat here saying it's linked to Europe in every way possible, airports or train. We saw this. We didn't necessarily see the direct Eurostar. That literally the Eurostar train's pulling up right here. But
mental.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Change. All change.
I was trying to think of a Darren Brown Ghost Train reference, but couldn't think of anything. All I can think of is Credo.
On the end of London St Pancras, where the Eurostar runs to, there was the plan for a direct train line up to Bedford, which apparently the infrastructure at St Pancras would already be there. Like, I can imagine so anyway. But that is going to take a lot of money and infrastructure in Bedford, because the nearest train station has, what, like 2 or 3 platforms?
Wixham's will be the hub for Universal.
Yeah.
Well, the rail hub.
Are you okay?
What's next?
As you may have heard me say, meanwhile, during that, we've completely forgot about this. There is work going on the field.
Yeah, you may have seen a man.
And you might see a van.
You may see a van.
If we don't see a van this episode, I'll cut a clip in. There are vans driving on this mud track in front of us on the public footpath, but around the edge of the field because they're obviously working on it. There's borehole testing going on like there was in the brickworks over there. I'll put some shots into that. And there's some containers and cars off in the distance. There are a few cars in the brickwork section as well, so a lot going on today, which is quite interesting. Thought I'd mention it because we're here.
We here.
For those of you who are listening, borehole testing is nothing special, but it requires an orange tripod with drill.
You're such a neek. So something we've learnt from today's plans is that it's the first mention of a water park. And the only water park I can think that Universal's done off the top of my head is Volcano Bay. So over there is going to be a massive volcano.
Towering over the A421. That mention has been alongside, obviously, theme park, amusement park, and then it says and/or water park. So obviously, don't expect a water park straight away. Maybe don't even expect a water park, but it's clear that they do want some sort of consideration for a water park in these plans, because I would imagine that might go on the brickwork side, which would be really interesting because that would be their first indoor water park, because there's no way they're making an outdoor water park in this country outside. Just a recipe for disaster.
What I've got from reading some of these paragraphs is that they are just covering all bases.
Yeah.
They might not even have a water park on the cards, on the table for this site, but like, you never know, however many years down the line
They might decide to
do that. So
and now they've got the coverage of the planning permission to do that.
Yeah, we would be stupid not to discuss it on here because it's an interesting piece of wording. Talking about interesting wording,
Yeah.
let's talk about height.
Oh, the height, structure, measurements and all that jazz.
I think height is the biggest, most interesting thing we've learned from these documents today.
Yeah. No, there's a few other things as well. Keep watching.
Yeah. Retention. Height is everything, because height is how high things are.
You're a tall man. How do you feel about height?
I'm too tall. So we were sat there. Let's paint the picture, set the scene. The storyboards. I was sat there trying my hardest to find something interesting
on a BBC laptop.
On the BBC laptop for the BBC, and I searched the word roller coaster in the big document, and then I find a piece of text that says
the maximum height of a structure, including non-occupiable features, such as a roller coaster, closed comma, is that within the area of the core zone, which allows the tallest structures, would be 115 metres above ground level. Now, obviously, the such as a roller coaster bit, I think, is a big telltale for what they're trying to do here.
It's the word such as a roller coaster. We've had confirmation in the past about them wanting to build to basically that height, but them wording it as such as a roller coaster, nothing else, just such as a roller coaster.
I also think it's interesting how the maximum height of this entire land on the plans is 117 metres. So the fact that they've opted in to specify a structure being 115, I think it's very, very much a good sign.
Oddly specific, isn't it? 377 feet, though.
That's mental.
Is it possible? Is that...
In the UK, it doesn't feel like it is, but apparently so.
That is high.
Almost 150 feet on top of Hyperia.
Yeah, that is crazy.
If they can go for it, why wouldn't they?
Yeah. It's definitely a more marketable tagline. Although Universal aren't ones to typically go for records, I think we maybe could see them do that.
And I would love to see it. And if it doesn't go 88 miles an hour, I'll be fuming. It's gonna have to go a lot faster, isn't it? Oh,
yeah, it's gonna have to go faster.
Well, it does swing launches, so maybe one of them could be 88.
Maybe Doc is like, you've gone too fast to go back to the future. We're just speculating because there's another page that says about heights of things.
Yeah, the skyline concept. This is another interesting point.
And that sort of brought our excitement level from here and brought it back down a bit. It seems to show a draft mock skyline of the park that is clearly not what the park will look like. But it doesn't go as high as what we've just discussed. It only goes to like 220-ish, maybe just below feet.
We will still hold out hope for that. I feel like there's no reason why they would have mentioned that tall of a structure being built, such as a roller coaster, when they've put that skyline in. Maybe it's a way to please the locals and be like, oh, look, we're not building that high, and then they do. I don't know how it works, so we have our fingers crossed.
Fishy activity going on, isn't there?
Indeed there is, but something that's not fishy is the amount of car park spaces.
Oh yeah, tell me how many car park spaces are going here then.
You want to know some stats about what we're going to see here? Well, what you're going to see is a visitor accommodation with a minimum 500 hotel rooms.
That's not a car park.
A theme park of at least 32.37 hectares in size, excluding guest parking. My God. Parking itself will include a minimum of 100 coach parking spaces, 250 cycle spaces, and 7,106 car parking spaces. What are you digging for in there? Is it?
Thank you very much to the person who gave me the Kit Kat Chunkies at Alton Towers, and this says for the field.
Thank you for the Kit Kats that I haven't eaten one of, and Marcus has eaten all the others.
I ate all of them this week, yeah. I am sorry. What we do know, though, is they're coming here and they're going to mean business.
They are going to mean business, because another thing that's been said is how big the crowds are supposed to be at peak times, busy times, and quiet times, and also opening hours. And I think this is very exciting. First of all, the amount of visitors per day. They reckon in the plans, their estimates on a low sort of quiet day will be around 10,000 people. 10,000 people on a quiet day. Bear in mind, a place like Alton Towers or Thorpe Park is very busy when it's got about 20,000 in it. The average is around 23,000. A busy day will be 40,000, and peak would be 55,000 people.
Not enough. More.
No, build another theme park. But no, I mean, it gets even bigger when the park has its future years. I assume when maybe another park's built. 81,000 on a peak day. That is
peak.
Obviously, rest up to anyone who would be at the park on one of those peak days. But to see that sort of capacity at a Universal theme park in the UK, a UK theme park having that capacity, crazy.
It's pretty nutty, isn't it?
They also reckon, do you remember the opening hours?
I do.
They also reckon opening hours
9 a.m. till 9 p.m.
and that's just the normal opening hours. We can't even get a park in this country open 10 till 4. Like, I'm so excited to have a park that will open that early and stay open that late. What are your thoughts?
I am worried. I'm worried they don't understand our market. I'm going deep here.
I feel like the sun went in and it's become really serious.
It's time to deep dive. That's what we do here on the field. We deep dive. Our theme parks, such as, let's say, Alton Towers, might open on a weekday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. And they do that because if you've ever been on one of those days, you'll know it's completely dead. Like, the staff don't need to stay in the park any longer because everyone's left by that time. Will Universal come over here and be like, oh yeah, we can apply this logic to this UK park, and then realise actually the park's dead, we can't really afford to keep it open? Do you think they'll backtrack?
Good. That's a very good point. Like, the reason that Towers stays open 10 till 4 is because it's quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah, what if it happens here? They don't want to keep open until 9 p.m. With those visitor numbers, on a low day, they're still getting 10,000 plus people through the door. I still don't think if they did decrease the hours, it would be that much. I think it'd be like they decrease it to 10 till 7 or something rather than 9 till 9. So it'd still be great hours.
Why have we entered some tropical storm?
I don't know. It's
what
really
the hell
windy
is
and
going
I hate
on?
my life.
The plans are so optimistic. Just starting out by saying all this positivity about the UK theme park industry and how amazing it is and how it's a growing industry. Yet I can't help but feel like, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like our parks are struggling.
Well, those who watch this Blossoming in Theme Parks, you'll know this.
No one watches that, mate.
We spoke about this. Merlin has made a £492 million loss on just everything, like the value of their attractions, operating costs, like all that total together last year when they invested so much. I think that is a telltale sign that it's the attractions industry isn't popping off. So
which you wouldn't believe by looking at their plans they released today, because they're so positive. And
I respect that. I'm a positive guy.
I'm a positive guy.
You are. You know why he's not so positive right now? Because he's not subscribed. Come on. The one thing in there that makes the most sense, and people, especially who love Halloween, will probably love the most from this is it says seasonal events, brackets, such as Halloween Horror Nights. And elsewhere in the documents, it mentions Halloween Horror Nights is definitely happening at this park.
I think we knew that it was happening anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But after all, they did the Blumhouse pop-up in London, which
Yep.
was like their tester. Look, Halloween Horror Nights was a very good event. It's just, it's very different to the Halloween events we do here in the UK. So
It's interesting.
it will be interesting to see if they try and make it more like our ones, or... I don't know, I'm looking over there like it's over there.
It's right there. Halloween
There
Horror
it
Nights
is.
is right there. That's the Blumhouse.
Or if they keep it in their format. Who knows?
We will see. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with that. There's going to be so much like delving through the plans that's going to happen. I guarantee you we'll find something as soon as this video goes out and it'll be like, oh my god, how do we miss that? We'll have to rush back down to the field to speak about one fact and then go home.
Nah, you're right.
I think the best thing to take from these plans coming out is that the next year when they go into construction and the years that follow after that are going to be some of the best, most exciting times as theme park enthusiasts and for the theme park industry in the UK. And for Marcus, the positive man.
Well, Dan, I think that does it for another episode of Val Field.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you everyone for listening and watching.
Yes. Goodbye until the next time we don't see you.
See ya!
Do you mind?